Due to the nature of strong language in today's episode, viewer discretion is advised. Today on Blissfully Tea Drunk With. Welcome to the fifth and final season of Blissfully Tea Drunk With, and this is one of the final panels for the talk show. So to my right, I have Dawn from Mayleaf, and below me, I have Glenn from Crimson Lotus Tea, and to the right of Glenn is Dion. She is an artist from Florida, / she's also a tea drinker, and she's been on my show since the first season. So hello, everybody.
Hey.
What's up, Cody?
How's everyone doing today? What are y'all drinking?
Drinking an Iwu blend of 7 villages, Shangpur.
Nice.
And what about you, Glenn?
I've got some of the awesome Space Girls, our new blend, and I'm drinking it in a nice little Jen Shui teapot, and it's pretty tasty.
And what about you, Dion?
I'm having a Shangpur as well, and yeah, it's from Nanu Mountain. It's delicious.
Cody, you better be drinking some Shung too.
I am, but it's a competitor Shung that has no relation to both of you, so I'm not going to say out loud who it's from. So we'll just leave it there. So I love your guys' teas. I promise. So I have to ask. So Dawn, you have you run a tea shop in London called Mayleaf, and I think this is like great because according to my notes, you guys don't do the British tea time. You do like the gung fu, which is like what we're all doing. Gung fu is like the Chinese tea ceremony. Simplest way of putting it. But like, how many people come into your shop disappointed that they don't come into British tea? Because I imagine when they come into your shop, they're automatically expecting an overt like Anglo-Saxon experience, and they come in and that's not that. So do you ever get that confusion?
All the time, but it's over the years it's gone down. So we opened in 2007. The first 10 years, it was just like you almost wanted to just wear a T-shirt saying "We don't do coffee, we don't do British tea," because you just get it all the time. But nowadays, it's not that common because most people who come in because they've heard about us and they know what Gong Fu tea is, or they're interested to find out. So thankfully it's less common because you started to sort of want to blow your brains out when you were like repeating the same thing again and then again and again. But we don't do any British tea, and thankfully we've been accepted by London as that's being okay.
So, like, on the sign on the shop front, do you have, like, in bold, like, "We don't serve boba"? Like, like, do you get that a lot, too?
Yeah, we do, but less so because the boba tea front, shop front tends to look a particular way, whereas our shop front doesn't look like that. So we just get more people coming in either saying, "I want just a standard British milky tea, mate," or they're saying, "It costs how much?" Those are the two sort of things that we tend to hear. But as I said, it's less common these days.
So, Glenn, you're over in Seattle, and you run a pu'er, like you're an online vendor for pu'er tea and like various things surrounding that. And like you don't have a shop front, but you do have an online shop front that has a strong presence online.
I do.
And you're located out of Seattle, and Seattle culture is very much like Austin, Texas culture, except you don't have as many like barbecue meat options. So I wanted to ask you, if you had to give up meat in any capacity, would you rather be vegetarian, vegan, or Presbyterian?
I'm not going to give up meat. The simplest thing. It's not going to happen. I'm a pure carnivore man. That's why I drink pu'er tea, to help break all that meat down.
See, like I'm a little bit of a carnivore myself, but I think they call me I think I grew up in a Church of Christ, so I don't know what percentage of meat that falls into compared to if you were a Presbyterian for meatless options, but
it's not gonna happen, man. I'm a pure carnivore. Sorry.
I'm also an atheist, so. So Dion, hi, how are you doing?
Good. What's up?
So I saw in the news this year that you're in Florida. You're an artist. You're a tea drinker. And you're famous, like Florida's been famous lately for having the governor, Ron DeSantis. And we're not going to go too heavy.
I sense the love.
I'm not going to go too heavy into that, but because he's been feuding with Disney and Disney's been feuding with him, and Disney and him are pointing the finger at each other, who's more anti-gay, and it's, you know, and in the meantime, you have a lot of like I read the news, there's a heart surgeon at a children's hospital. He moved to a different state because of being gay and he can't be open. So, and running all the heart doctors out of Florida, why does Ron Bad DeSantis Claus have against Valentine's Day and hearts? And is he trying to overcapitalize on Christmas and the other holidays?
No comment.
So, Don, I have another question for you regarding being in London.
I bet you do. Regarding what? Vegan London?
I have a question about, so like obviously England is very famous because of the crown, and you should never make fun of the crown because that's no laughing matter. That's something that should be highly respected.
Curry.
But I have to say, don't you think the crown needs a new slogan from God Save the Queen? Because like obviously if he did, she would still be alive right now. I mean, think about it. The Queen was portrayed by Olivia Colman in The Crown. Is one of Olivia Colman's greatest performances. And I mean, what honor is it that you've made it because Olivia Colman did the dedication of portraying you in a TV series? Isn't that something? That's how you know you've really made it.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet she was absolutely honored, and clearly all those songs about saving her over for decades didn't quite work out. But you know, she had a good innings, as they say.
It worked for a really long time.
Yeah,
it did.
It worked for far longer than it's worked on any other queen.
That's true.
My history's correct.
But now that Olivia Colman has portrayed her in a TV series on Netflix, she will continue to live on for generation after generation. I think The Crown really owes more to Olivia Colman.
You know what? Shock horror. I've never watched The Crown.
I didn't even know that was a show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you even watch Downton Abbey?
Downtown Tabby?
Downtown Abbey? Tabby? It's a show full of cats. It's like Cats the Musical, except they're drinking high tea and there's a lot of melodrama.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Rooster and Jeeves is about as far as I got.
Ooh, yeah.
Jeeves.
Old school.
So, Glenn, I do want to ask you, I do have, despite the format, I do have a few serious questions I wanted to ask, and I have one of them for you.
Stop, Cody. Don't go serious.
Like, on this show? Like, what?
I got the serious question. What are you talking about?
Valentine's Day and Christmas is serious. Yes. But Glenn, I do have, so as like the pandemic has opened up, I've noticed there's been a resurgence of a lot of tea expos, and I've noticed over the past year, so many of them are selling out tickets. There's one in Toronto, they sold out, and like San Francisco, they sold out their tea expo. And you've actually, because I haven't been to a tea expo that wasn't World Tea Expo, and they don't count because they're the world, so they're not US.
So you're coming to the Northwest Tea Festival, right?
But you went to Northwest and you also went to Portland, and there are massive crowds. So can you shed a light onto how like the resurgence of these smaller localized tea expos are, and what might be driving this resurgence?
People like to have tea with other people. It's really as simple as that. And so for years we didn't or couldn't. Tea by its nature is a really social thing. And as awesome as Zoom is, Zoom for tea tastings just leaves something lacking. So the first chance to get back with a group of people and drink tea together and talk together and sit down and share is, it's just it's something that people have really been craving fundamentally in their bones. So yeah, so the Northwest Tea Festival is it's the 13th Northwest Tea Festival this year, and it's the fourth attempt to get the 13th Northwest Tea Festival down. But it's set. And it's in about a month, and so we will be there all weekend. It's a ton of fun.
So you have Northwest, and for people at home who don't know, since the pandemic, Northwest Tea Fest has had to reschedule several times because of COVID restrictions and organizing issues with like. Was it like city planning as well? Didn't want.
No, it's not just reschedule. They haven't even had it since 2019. So it's not just reschedule. It's like they've had to completely stop it. And so I've worked with others to try to create smaller micro tea festivals where it's, we can have a small venue and maybe it's like just 10 vendors or something like that, and those also just sell out. But the real trick is just if you ever want to run a tea festival, the hardest part is getting enough power for everybody to run an electric kettle. If you can solve the power problem, you can do tea festivals anywhere, but power is very difficult to do.
I thought the trick to running a successful tea festival was free samples.
No, it's actually power, because you can't have free samples if you don't have electricity for your kettles.
That's true, but then there are people like me who want to take the free samples and drink them at home because they don't like being around other people. So
I don't think that's true, Cody.
I feel like maybe I'm missing the mark here. The only thing I learned from the pandemic was I don't like most other people, and my cats are friendly. My cats won't argue.
Maybe it's type of people.
I've even went to so many nice people, and they don't even like cats. So how can I trust them? There's a serious thing out there called dog people, and it's terrifying.
Hey, dog people need tea too, buddy.
Yes,
that's true. So,
ding dong.
Do y'all hear that sound? Can we play that sound again? Do y'all hear that?
Ding dong.
That means it's time for our in-house talk show, game show, steeped in nepotism. Are you guys ready to play?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
So on this next round on our in-house game show steeped in nepotism, we're going to give a curveball to our panel today to see if that's my notepad paper, not my phone. So we're going to see if they can actually guess and get it right, since the last panel did such a great job with guessing the answer. So here's how the rules work. This is a game show where we will vaguely describe 3 facts about one industry professional. Now, the thing is not who the industry professional is, but you have to guess which industry this person hailed from. And if you can guess the professional, then you get bonus points. So, Steeped in Nepotism will describe 3 facts about someone in tea or indie pop music who has benefited off of nepotism, because you can't have the tea industry and indie pop music without the world of nepotism. Like, they just wouldn't exist. So I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute for the panel. So I'll read out loud the 3 facts, and then the panel will discuss among each other if it is an individual from the world of tea or from the world of indie pop music. And at the end, if you want to guess who it is, and then if not, I can reveal who the person is. So I'm going to start the timer after I read the facts. So are y'all ready? Do y'all understand the rules?
We'll do it live.
Perfect. So here are the 3 big facts about this individual. Then I will start the timer. They have a parent and a sibling in this industry. They broke off from the family business to start their own venture. They were from the Mid-East in the United States and also live in California. So the timer for 1 minute starts now.
Any ideas, people?
Who is Hunter Biden? I don't know.
Indie pop music, right? Or tea.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's what we're going to decide.
Gotcha. My bad. Wrong industry.
It's okay. I don't know anybody in tea, but then I'm not really part of that would fit that. But then I'm not really in with the US scene. So
I'm going to say pop.
Do you know anybody?
Indie pop.
Yeah, let's just go with indie pop. 50.
Alright, y'all still have 20 seconds left on the clock. Are y'all ready to cash in now?
Can we phone a friend?
Yeah.
You got 10 seconds to expect somebody to answer their phone without screening it. No one answers phones anymore.
No one does.
That's true.
No.
All right, let's indie pop it.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the buzzer. So, I'm gonna go back over the facts, and I must say, if Hunter Biden released an album, like, what genre of music would that be in? He's too city to be country, but he's, I don't know what genre, like maybe metal? I don't know, that'd be very interesting. Could you imagine?
I get Trent Reznor vibes.
I'm thinking like a dark synth wave, something like that.
Yes,
okay.
yes, we're on the same vibe. We're on the same
rough
vibe.
and aggressive. Yeah, it's just the first thing that popped in my head. I've seen his artwork, so that's immediately what I thought. So yeah.
So if the Bidens are watching the show today and y'all launch a pop music career, you can thank this show for your start. Okay,
Not,
so
I wouldn't hold my breath, but yeah.
so the three facts about this one individual are her parents and siblings are in
Her. Okay.
the
Okay,
music,
you never.
First time you said that.
industry. They broke off from their family business to start their own pop music career. And they are from the Mid-East, aka Nashville, Tennessee, and also live in California. And the indie pop star I am describing is Noah Cyrus. So you guys won!
Okay. All right. We
What do we
win.
win?
Guessing.
What do we win? What's the prize?
Just the satisfaction that y'all beat
No,
some of the other panels.
Cody, come on,
Can't
come
leave it
on,
like that,
come
bud.
on, man.
I mean,
Come on, man.
given
He's
how
jipping
Drag
us.
us out. You drag us out here to have you tell us there's a game show. There is no game show without the prize.
He's right.
prize is spending this hour with me.
It's an hour? Wait a minute.
The prize is cutting it to half an hour.
I've got 5 more minutes, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're going to take a quick break from today's episode to talk about today's sponsor, T-Flow USA. T-Flow USA is a new tea company that sells tea and tea wear, and they sent me some of their oolong, white tea, and black tea. Upon opening their white tea, I noticed it was incredibly fragrant, soft, fluffy, and smelled really, really good. I mean, look at how pretty that leaf is. And their black tea knocked me over with the aroma of sweet brown sugar caramel and just smelled fantastic. Their oolong tea was no exception as well. It was also incredible. So that was the one that I made first. One thing I like about T-Flow USA is that although that they are a new company, they already started out the floodgate with a lot of great teas. They already carry a wide variety of a refined selection such as white tea, black tea, oolong tea, and green tea. They even have a matcha on their website that I've heard is really good. Although T-Flow USA did sponsor this episode, I'm not trying to be biased here when I say that their teas are truly special and you definitely should check them out. Thank you for sponsoring today's episode. So, I know I mentioned Disney earlier, and Dion, I want to go back to Disney and ask you about. Well, let me switch to a different question. So I'm going to go back. It's okay. You get a break. You get a pass. So, also, I want to bring up the fact that, Dawn, you're in England, and which is Ireland, which there's also Great Britain, and there's Wales. And for people who don't live there, they don't understand the separation.
I have no idea either.
So when doing my research, I just assumed that you're also a part of Ireland until England decided to break off from the EU, then Ireland didn't. But I want to bring up, a part of Irish history was the Londonderry conflict in the 90s. I mean, I know you're British, not Irish, but we were also expected to have opinions about other countries' politics, despite the fact that it will never apply to us. So I must ask, in the 1990s, what side of the conflict were you on? I mean, I can tell you where I was on. I was not for freeing Londonderry at all, because now that we've allowed Irish culture to thrive, we've had an insurgence of river dance. And I blame the Catholics for letting the Protestants perpetuate Michael Flatley, and that's something we will never get back.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think
What was the question again?
I'm going to have to untangle that long preamble to work out what was the question.
Should we have freed Londonderry? I say no. We got river dance from it, and we didn't benefit from that.
Should we have freed Londonderry? This was in the 90s.
Yes.
My only concern in the 90s was not finding myself near a bomb in London. That was the only concern that I had when I was roaming around in the 90s. It was an interesting time for sure. There was a lot of explosions going on, but yeah. I mean, I was too young and didn't really care at that time to worry about politics, as long as it wasn't gonna lead to a car bomb being too close to where I lived. But yeah,
That's horrifying.
I think that there's a lot to be said about, you know, the reduction of river dance in the world.
I know, we all let it happen. We all sat and watched and let Michael Flatley do his thing, and we shouldn't.
I think the States have a lot to blame for that. There was a bit too much adulation of that, you know, hippity hoppity dance that they do. I don't know. I think there's you know, you gave them far too much exposure.
It's really the lack of arm movement that kind of weirds me out.
See, like,
I need my arms to move.
It's
I don't know who
bizarre.
this we business is, but in my culture, we were trying to free Britney this whole like past decade and a half. So like I don't know what the other people in my country were doing, but I know gay culture was trying to free Britney and also keep Mariah busy because we don't keep Mariah bored in the gay
free
community.
Britney. I thought you were saying free Brittany. I was like, why do you care about Brittany in France?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they've been
was there
free
something
for
I
like
missed?
80 years.
No, the French had it coming. So
That's
I do want to
funny.
ask. I do want to touch base on another major headline, and I noticed this when having tea the other night. That Little Mermaid created massive headlines this year when they did a live action because one, a lot of people didn't like that Disney is perpetuating the live action version of their movies because they say they're not as good, and the Beauty and the Beast proved that. I don't think we need any other proof other than Emma Watson and Hermione and Harry Potter trying to make love to a beast who was Dan Stevens. And Dan Stevens left Downton Abbey and his character died in season 3 when it didn't have to, just to go be on this flop. And it's like, we all lost in that. No one benefited. But a lot of the controversy came from the fact that Ariel was had darker skin and she wasn't a white girl. But that was really surprising to me because did anyone ever bother to think in the original movie that a fish human who was that pale skinned that she would not have like 8 stages melanoma by that time in her life? That was still unrealistic. I don't know how they expected us to believe that. After all, it is a movie about fish people.
Is there a question in that?
No, this is just an observation. I mean, to have someone look more like Pacific Islander to like be in the middle of the ocean and not sunburn, like Ariel would have been like red if they had kept her white when filming that movie. They would have taken like 8 years to film that movie without her being that white and not sunburning. But when I bring this up,
I'm glad you're using logic to explain the Little Mermaid. It's good use of your rational brain.
I just wonder how they drink tea underwater. It doesn't make any sense.
I know they light fires underwater too. I don't. So the last question.
They're also half fish, which is interesting as well.
I know, but surprisingly, that made more sense for this whole controversy. That's the aspect that made sense.
I would have been interested in seeing a Little Mermaid where it flipped the other way. They were still half fish, but fish on top.
Yeah, exactly. Fish
oh gosh!
No, that was a dream. That was a dream I had. I'm sorry. That was.
No, the imagery is horrible. Let's just scrap it.
I was mad at Disney because they didn't call it Too Little, Too Mermaid, and they could have had vehicle information number Diesel star in it too, but they didn't. So
that's a Fast and the Furious joke. Just got it.
6 degrees of Fast and the Furious.
Never watched those either.
Too Little, Too Mermaid.
Those are great.
And maybe we get Halle Bailey back to portray Ariel, but as a NASCAR / streetcar driver in Tokyo for the next one.
Well, if she could sing the Hook song, that would be great.
That'd be amazing. So last, I have to end this on a tea note. We can't just be silly all the time. So I want to say,
okay.
I want to say Crimson Lotus Tea did something like why am I talking to you in another person? You're in front of me. Well, you're a projection on my computer in front of me.
I'm Glenn.
So hi, Glenn.
Nice to meet you, Cody.
Nice to meet you. So you released a mini tong. So a mini tong. So a tong, what people don't realize, a tong is like a piece of bamboo that's been dried and they wrap tea cakes around it, and that's like a unit of tea. That's like not the most accurate, but it's probably like the most simplest way of describing it. It does skip over a lot. But you can
it's actually wet while they wrap it, so it dries afterwards. That's how it forms tightly to that key point.
Gotcha. So I want to say I'm going to try and hold this at the right angle to not show a competitor, but this is like a normal size tong compared to this.
Yeah.
So in tea, I must ask you, does size really matter?
Well, so actually, yeah, it really does. And when you say normal size tong, that's normal size tong for the West. You got to remember, normal size tong for the Asian market is 357 gram cakes of tea, and that's exactly 2.5 kilos, and that's really important because 12 tongs on either side of a mule was exactly what it could carry. So it all comes down. Size absolutely does matter because old mule-tearing wisdom said that a mule could carry 60 kilos of tea, 60 kilometers in a day. And so all of that came down from that to exactly why they had 357 gram cakes. Yeah.
See, because a couple of Reddit threads told me that if I ever get insecure about myself, it's not about the size that matters, it's what you do with the product itself that makes the massive difference here.
You got to get off Reddit.
Okay, I'm getting off Reddit.
That's the takeaway. Yeah.
So last question. I did post to social media on my story asking that you guys are going to be on the panel, and if they had any questions, I would ask them. So before we hang up, I have to ask this. We had a couple of questions. I'm going to read real quick, so we're running low on time here. The first question is, who has the better skincare routine, Cody or Dawn?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Dawn.
That has to be you. Skincare routine.
Dawn.
There's no skincare routine.
Dawn, you're glowing, buddy. You're glowing. Look at that face.
That's the tea, the lighting, and some.
Must be the antioxidants.
But what about me is not glowing? What?
You weren't mentioned.
Look at Dawn. Look at Dawn, man. Look at Dawn.
Dawn is beautiful. He's conventionally beautiful, but like I glow too, right?
I don't
against that wall,
today, man.
Barely.
I see a halo.
Barely against the wall. Barely.
Well, it's. I guess you can still see some of my wrinkles. It's from the stress of carrying all the gay community on my back. It creates all these wrinkles. So this is just me carrying my community strongly. So the next question I have is, how can we? Let me go over. The tea community is very open and welcoming. But what can we do to be better at gatekeeping it?
Use obscure Chinese terminology without translation.
Well, but you said for me to get off Reddit, but I think if I want to go back on the tea Reddit, that'd be the better way to gatekeep it, because that subreddit's got it down. The tea Reddit has it to a T.
Good one.
Do y'all have any input?
Why do we need to gatekeep it?
Yeah.
These were ridiculous questions.
Because we need social structure. Because we need social structures to make ourselves believe we belong to something, to make the stresses of life more tolerable.
Tribes.
So tea is for everybody, bud. Open those gates.
So the last question I'm asking is, how can we use tea and gung fu culture in particular to bridge the political divide?
Just have tea for everybody. Don't say you won't have tea with somebody just because of their political beliefs. You'll never be able to change somebody's mind by like never talking to them.
Exactly.
I have gotten in trouble for this, but I will make tea for anybody. I don't care. I will take the opportunity and the time to sit down with somebody and have a conversation. And tea is an amazing way to do that. But some people don't want me to have tea with some people, and then they get upset and whatever. But I'll have tea with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And the process of actually tasting a tea and talking about the tea, aside from all of the sort of body effects and, all of the feel good chemicals that are in tea, the act of tasting and the act of talking about taste is a very personal thing. And so therefore you are always going to be opening up to that person. And that is a great way to start to sort of break down some of the predefined barriers that you may have between each other.
Completely agree. There's plenty of compassion in tea. Plenty of it.
I want to say some of my greatest tea experiences, when I think about all the people from all the various backgrounds and from the various cultures and worlds that they come from, that truly, for me, the best tea experiences are when I had tea by myself. Because if I decide to have it by myself, no one can interfere in that peace, and I can't disagree and not get along with anybody if I'm not around them. So the best way for me to keep peace is to do what I do in solitude by myself with my 2 cats and Avatar: The Last Airbender on the TV.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, man. Live your world.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for being on today's panel, but now we're going to move on to the episode's activity. Let's go ahead and jump on over, but not really because we're sitting. Let's go ahead and scooch on over. Alrighty, voiceover, Cody, go ahead. You can. After failing with the tea cakes in last week's episode, this week I decided to go to my friend Jeffrey of Uni-Tea to pitch to him the idea of doing Lana Del Rey tea blends. So Jeffrey, thank you for meeting with me today. I was so excited that you took me up on this meeting, to this pitch session, that I could pitch to you the Lana Del Rey tea blend teas that maybe we could partner together on. So I made them, and I'm glad you got them in the mail. And from my understanding, you've had a chance to try some of them, but we're also going to try one here today. So thank you for agreeing to try them and meet with me today.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. I was surprised you were able to get the intellectual property for these, though.
Oh, the license for the intellectual property, right? I got that.
Oh, well,
That's
okay.
right. Right here we have the Honeymoon blend, which is inspired by Lana's Honeymoon album, and you have it right there with you. So for this album, she had a song called Salvatore. So it's a beach-inspired blend with cherries and red wine, notes of red wine. It's a fruit blend. So I thought it's inspired by the Honeymoon album. It's supposed to be romantic and sexy and devastating.
Okay. Well, it's never as good as it looks in the promotional photos, is it?
But all her music sounds good, regardless of photos. So let's just forget the Honeymoon blend. Let's go over to the Ultraviolence blend. What did you think of the Ultraviolence blend?
Ultraviolence was better than the Paradise blend, but I had the Born to Die blend first and wanted it to taste, I don't know, a bit more like that.
But experimenting is great, especially trying something new in a different field. So what about the Lust for Life blend? Because for the Lust for Life blend, I actually collaborated with several people on this because of the song 13 Beaches. I wanted there to be notes of cherries and peaches and wine. I wanted to be like more of like a summer thing, and I collaborated with like 6 people for this blend. What did you think?
Well, Lust for Life was okay, but I think that you collabed with too many people on this, and honestly, I think you could have done it on your own.
To me, it's sometimes it's good for artists to collaborate with each other and do something to match their sound to create something unique and fun.
Like with tea?
Oh, tea. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Right. No, right.
Okay, so let's just forget about the Lust for Life blend. So, I mean, let's move over to the Norman fucking Rockwell blend because that has to be a winner, right? What'd you think of that one?
Well, I liked the Norman fucking Rockwell blend, but if I was to give out an award, it would be for the Billie Eilish blend that I got right on here.
But the Billie Eilish blend was inspired by my Lana Del Rey Norman fucking Rockwell blend. Why would the award go to her when you have the original sitting right there in the audience? Like, why would you snub it like that?
Yeah, they're all good, Cody. They're all tea.
So, ignoring what you said about the Norman fucking Rockwell blends, I don't know why I'm asking now, but what did you think of the Blue Banisters and the Chemtrails tea blend?
Well, I don't think that it was good for the culture, Cody. It had faint notes of a racist Instagram post.
But it was misunderstood. But the tea blends are being misunderstood. You're taking... It's like you're assuming the wrong thing that was not intended with the tea blends. It's not what she intended.
Well, actually, Cody, I've actually been working with another blogger on some Halsey tea-related blends, and I think that's the direction I'm gonna go in.
After Jeffrey rudely insulted Lana Del Rey and I decided to hack into his Instagram account and start an Instagram Live in an attempt to sabotage his tea business. It worked. Hi, my name is Cody. I'm also known as the Oolong Drunk, and so today we're going to read Twilight. We're going to have tea and Twilight. So I'm going to read to you several chapters of Twilight, so get your kettles going, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Given that Twilight is licensed, I can't read to you the actual book, but I can give my commentary. Cool. And that's Cooley. Yo, what's up? a real Myers. Stephanie Meyer's not Dr. Seuss. Who does she think she is? Given that I can't read Twilight to you, I'm going to read to you my most recent 1-star review on Google for a local breakfast restaurant. I've been a regular here and have been coming here on the weekends. Service is usually 10 out of 10 and the wait staff is incredible. However, the last few weeks I've come here, I've noticed that my food is undercooked or usually burnt. This happened the other day whenever I ordered hash browns with my breakfast. Whenever I got them back, they were black and burnt on one side, and on the other side they were cold and raw. After sending it back and forth to the kitchen several times, they finally got it right. But I feel like they were predispositioning me to be a Karen. I'm not sure what's up with the kitchen staff at this location, but it's made me not want to come back here anymore. So, I'm not. I was getting scared for a minute. Like, where's this gonna go? Where's this? This is PG-13, I think. Okay. Next week on Blissfully Tea Drunk With. A lot of the gay hate comes from a lot of gay people who can't accept within themselves that they are gay, so they project their inner homophobia to other gay people. So on top of being gay in this world, you get bullied by other gay people and you can't be perfect, so there's no winning here.